Alright guys, so in this video what I want to go ahead and talk about is this resurgence of a faux right wing that's ultimately going to lead us to this great deception. It's going to be whether we have this veil permanently pulled over our eyes or whether we're going to see through it and understand that the time of the end is nigh. So I want to go ahead and start by shrinking myself down here. So basically, the CIA has always controlled the dissemination of information. This is where we get the term info war. Because after we had World War II, the world as it sits kind of realized, okay, if we have any kind of nuclear weapons, any kind of nuclear war, like, that's kind of the end of absolutely everything. And although evil does ultimately want the end of everything, they don't themselves want to die because they're afraid, and rightfully so, of what's going to happen to them after the fact. So basically, since 1948, when Israel became a nation, there's been this constant struggle in power that's not as much physical as much as it is ideological and informational. 1984, Yuri Bezmenov, he went ahead and talked about this. This was called ideological subversion. And it's a long process, it takes 15 to 20 years. I think in our case, we basically saw it take place over the course of 20 to 30 years, maybe even 40. But now we pretty much have a morally bankrupt society. We went so far left with everything because they wanted to give us all this like ultimate autonomy, right? Where people started cutting off certain parts of their body or sewing different parts of the body on, and it went so crazy where even the most like not so confrontational people were like, hey, yeah, this has kind of gone a little bit too far. And so we started swinging this opposite direction. And the powers that be, the CIA, the feds, cabal, whatever you want to call it, they've started to recognize this. And so to maintain control, they're giving us little tokenized wins here and there, and they're kind of reshaping this information war that we're truly in as a society. So you have this new opposition with information, let's call it, where you have, Tucker Carlson. He is clearly CIA. His dad was Dick Carlson. He ran Voice of America, which was a known CIA operation. He's admitted this. He's even been proven to lie about this because he's talked about it for the past 20 years, yet he hops on a show with Candace Owens and is like, oh yeah, I didn't know my dad was CIA until he died. And that's been proven to be untrue with shows like Nick Fuentes and America First, and a grassroots operation that's been led on Twitter and X, everything like that. You got Ben Shapiro, who for the longest time we were all like, facts don't care about feelings, right? Well, as soon as facts started to become inconvenient to Ben Shapiro's Zionist agenda, Ben Shapiro started losing his mind. Candace Owens, she got left from the Daily Wire, and it's like, oh well, why did that happen? Oh well, they're getting canceled. So what they're trying to do, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, they're trying to be like, oh well, we were canceled, so we're just like you guys. No, you're not. Tucker Carlson's been CIA for pretty much forever. He's just an actor. Candace Owens, she's on a Zoom call with British royalty, and 2 weeks later gets married, has $200 million. Like, what the heck is that even about? Not to necessarily quote Nick Fuentes, but seriously. Like, why does she think that she's all of a sudden a regular person just because she's black? Like, let's be real. You got Charlie Kirk, who's afraid he gets all his checks signed by the Israeli lobby to not push any kind of American first agenda, but mainly Israel. And he has these pre-controlled, pre-scripted talking points that lead down a certain logical trail. And when that happens, if the person who's debating them doesn't know how to pull out of that because the arguments are on a false premise, Charlie Kirk can't even really handle it. Then, crazy enough, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, okay? These are hard ones to kind of stomach. You think Donald Trump was somebody that was trustworthy, somebody that was actually fighting for the people, was a true populist. But guys, he's just as controlled as everybody else Epstein list is proof of it. He's so scared to get that out. Now he's calling it a hoax after years of saying that it's not a hoax and that we need to get to the bottom of it. He's one of them. It sucks to say, but he's truly one of them. He is controlled. He does everything. Like, for example, if anybody criticizes Israel, they're not eligible for disaster relief. Like, what is that even about? Why? What happened to America first? If you're not American first unless you worship Israel first. This is getting very close and very dangerous to this concept of the synagogue of Satan. And J.D. Vance, he's going to be the front runner for the 2028 election, because what's happening is that they're going to give us these voices that seemingly appease the masses on a surface level, while unbeknownst to most of them, they're still controlling the direction that ultimately leads us all to hell. Even in the entertainment industry. Recently, we have Sydney Sweeney in the American Eagle ad. They're giving us these little token wins where it's like, okay, well, we're no longer going to show fat black chicks in our marketing. We're going to show hot white chicks, and everyone's going to be okay with it. And unfortunately, people are falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. They think that they're getting these wins and that they're finally fighting the power. But the truth is, they're just being deceived in another way. They're being appeased. They don't even realize that they're not winning. They're just being tricked back into submission. And this all circles back to the deception of the spirit of Baal, Jezebel, and Ahab. They're all working in full force in America, and we truly have to be careful, and we must remain watchful with what's going on, who's saying what and why. Always ask for the why. Like Tucker Carlson. Why does he have to be so deceptive about his CIA upbringing? Like, he can say, oh yeah, like, I was kind of around that world growing up, and then all of a sudden on Candace Owens' show, or I guess his show with Candace Owens as a guest, he's like, oh yeah, I didn't know my dad was CIA and involved in that world until he died. It's like, that's a bold-faced lie, because for 20 years between CNN, Fox News, other interviews, Sean Ryan, you've admitted to it. So what do you have to hide? Why are you calling others like Nick Fuentes CIA cutouts? Why are you calling them feds when actually you're the one that's been an elitist puppet from the start? You are not America first. We are American first. Tucker Carlson, we see you now.